K-Share Beats.
Fuck what the crackers talking, we frontlining. Way before the quarantine, we see you punks hiding. See us and y'all swerve like you drunk driving. We just want to debate, we don't want violence. Fuck what the crackers talking, we front.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give call hello Yahweh by Shem HaMashiach Yahushai. It's all praise to the Most High, the Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, who we call Jesus Christ. For the Hebrew Israel, Sakari Sek out in the Bay Area, he peace a downfall of Babylon, this wicked nation, and peace, prosperity, and salvation to the 12 tribes of Israel, and continue to preach the gospel, man, and bring our people back and scattered abroad. So this lesson is about, it's Passover season for the most part. It's about self-reflection, building your brothers up, enduring to them, things like that. It's all relevant to our situation in captivity. But we also got to realize, hey, there's a judgment coming, and there's also people that don't want to get right. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But I bring this out first.
The book of Psalm, chapter 32, verse 10. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked.
Many sorrows going to be to the wicked. So if you living wickedly in his last days, guess what? There's going to be a coming judgment, and you're going to live a life of sorrow for the most part, because you don't want to get right with the Most High. Keep reading.
But he that trusteth in Yahweh, mercy shall compass him about.
If you trust in Yahweh, you follow his ways, you do his will, you love your neighbor as yourself, you put the Most High first, things like that, mercy's going to compass you about. You're going to be compassed with mercy. That's also says, and I believe it, a couple chapters later, Psalms 34, talking about the angels of the Most High protect people that, fear the Most High. And that's what we got to teach people as well. I'm going to get to that. But keep reading.
Psalms 25 and 10, all the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies.
All the ways of the Most High are mercy and truth to people that follow his ways. Keep the covenant. Keep the covenant that we agreed to in Mount Sinai. Keep the laws of God. Love our neighbor. Things like that. Don't treat other people differently just because they might not be in a certain position like you are. That's what we got to get used to. Because our people are so used to looking down on our people. Oh, I'm in this position, but I'm not. My fellow brother and sister's not in that position, or driving a certain car, living in a certain area, so we look down upon them, or we don't want to uplift them, help them out in that fashion. But guess what? We're all Israelites, so we all should get the same treatment. That's love your neighbor as yourself. You're not going to have your neighbor starve to death, are you? Have somebody at least like you started there. That's ridiculous. That's just one example of how you can treat your neighbor accordingly and love your neighbor and please the Most High by doing it. And that's how mercy is going to compass you about, because you're showing mercy to somebody else. Is that it? Give me read the 23, read the 30.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4, verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations.
Exactly. So we were supposed to be holy. We're supposed to be set apart. But guess what? Do our actions to our forefathers' actions. Now look where we're at. We're behind enemy lines. We're getting chastised. We're getting judged every day as a nation because we don't want to keep the Most High's ways. And that's why the Most High's, or this is to me, Ezra, talking to the angel like, hey, like, we're supposed to be on the high places. We're supposed to be ruling the world, pretty much. But guess what? We're not in that position no more. Even though we're supposed to be there, we're supposed to give them the laws and separate us from everybody else. But now we're on the same level as the heathen, beneath the heathen are above it for the most part. Go ahead.
And why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught.
The law of our forefathers is brought to naught. We don't keep the law no more. We don't care about it. We turn our back on it. And now we're in dire straits. Now we're being afflicted, like I said before. What's the benefit in that? We're supposed to keep the covenant, but now we don't want to do it because we want to be like everybody else. That's the problem with Israel, man. Monkey see, monkey do is not how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be an example to everybody else, and they're supposed to flock to us we're supposed to be on the height of the hill, like it says in Micah 4. It's going to be like that eventually, but first we got to get right. Give me that?
And the written covenants come to none effect.
Go ahead.
And we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear.
Our life is astonishment and fear. We can turn on the news every day. What happened with that trial in Houston with George Floyd? We was all excited. He got put to jail, whatever. I think he's doing like 12 years, something like that. He'll probably get out early. Who knows? Very same day, sister gets murdered in Minnesota. Or what city was that? Indiana?
I'm not sure.
What city was that in? Where she got gunned? It was in Ohio? She got gunned down less than an hour after that verdict came out. It was crazy. I seen that. Yeah, somebody got hung out in Sacramento. I seen that yesterday. Kind of crazy. We might have to go back out there and teach just to, put the spirit back out there. But just generally speaking, we're in affliction and we're in fear because guess what? We're not in our homeland. We're not keeping the laws of God. We don't want to treat each other right if we do know what's going on. But at the same time, it's our judgment because the Most High has a certain time frame and prophecies have to unfold in order for things to get better for our nation. Give me that.
And we are not worthy to obtain mercy.
We're not worthy to obtain mercy. Why? As a whole, we're not doing right, man. That's what I said. We got to be able to examine ourselves and get better by ourselves because we can't teach somebody else to get right if we're not right. Starting with us. We got to be the example for everybody else. Go ahead.
What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel.
The more you search, the more you're going to marvel. The more you look at things going on, you're going to be like, damn, wow, really? That's crazy. Just like we're doing today. Our people are so bugged out of their damn minds, we just astonished at the madness they do. You go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be, there's all type of folly going on, and we're just marveling at it because we're just like, damn, where's the wickedness stop? Who's gonna acknowledge that this is wickedness and it shouldn't be promoted? But like I said, we're monkey see, monkey do culture. We want to be cool. We want to get. We want to look like we want to be a certain way in the sight of men and people, and get certain things across to people that we're entertaining. But guess what? It might not be expedient for us to do that. Especially if it's going to affect our people in a way that's negatively, that's going to put us further in the judgment of the Most High. Go ahead.
For the world hasteth fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
The world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, but guess what? It's going to be destroyed, but we're not going to get that we're not going to get to experience that until these prophecies unfold. That's what it's talking about. And the main prophecy that has to unfold is the 144,000 of Israel got to be sealed first before any destruction happens. But that's why we got to come out week in and week out and teach our people and let them know, hey, there's a time frame that we're under, that the Most High is going to release this particular judgment, because we don't know when the elections going to get sealed. It's all spiritual for the most part. We're going to have that spiritual seal in our minds, and the Most High is going to release the Kraken, like they say in the movie. He's going to release that judgment on our people and the rest of the world, and there's going to be a lot of deaths and destruction, man. You don't want to be caught on that side of the fence. Go ahead.
But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
Destruction does not yet come, so because the evil is already present, but he's going to allow it to build up, like it says, and I think it's Second Ezra, or no, what is it? Wisdom of Solomon? I know it's Second Ezra 6, or something, Maccabees 6, where the people's judgment is going to get reached to the highest level before the Most High puts a hammer down on them. That's what it's talking about. The world has to reach that boiling point before it happens, along with the elect getting sealed. Read.
If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good.
So this place has to be destroyed in order for the new rulership of Christ to come, with the Israelites ruling and righteousness to come. So evil has to be present in order for it to be destroyed, cleansed, and rebirthed in a sense. That's what it's talking about in Revelation as well. That new kingdom coming out from Jerusalem, which is the nation of Israel being righteous and rulership. Go ahead.
For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness had it brought up unto this time.
Since Adam sinned from the beginning, there's been nothing but wickedness on the earth. The Most High destroyed everybody but 8 people back in the day. Then people had to learn to live again, for the most part, build the population up, and wickedness still persisted because the Most High allowed evil to reign in the earth. Since the Israelites didn't want, our chosen line didn't want to get right, fast forward, the Israelites don't want to get right. Now he's going to have evil persist until the elect gets sealed and Christ comes back. Go ahead.
And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
What's going to happen, or how much more is the time going to bring, read that again, Salah?
And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
Let's talk about unrighteousness. How much more unrighteousness is going to come until the time of threshing, which means somebody getting cut down, being destroyed for the most part? How much more is it going to come until this destruction comes? It's going to be a lot more. people gonna wax worse and worse, like it says in 2 Ezra, I think the 16th chapter. But our job is to get right and separate from wickedness, be an example to our people, teach our people, hey, there's another way of life you can live before that judgment day, and there's for the most part, you might be deemed merciful in that time frame. What you got? That's the 86. And that's our job, man. And in this lesson, I'm talking about our people recognizing their wickedness, having to make a conscious decision for the most part, even though the Most High already has a plan set out. We gotta still have that conscious decision for ourselves. Hey, there's a change that needs to occur in my life and in my spirit, because we don't want to be judged like these other heathens, man. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
We're the only people that's asking how our nation is doing. We're the only ones in our right mind in order to see things, judge things righteously, and know, hey, that's not right. It might not be in law per se, but that's not how you're supposed to operate as an Israelite. You can't befriend wickedness and expect good things to come, because that's when, I think it's in Proverbs 12, it says the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way the wicked seduces him. So if you're still hanging around with wicked people, you might get seduced in certain aspects over time, thinking you can get away with certain things. I'm gonna do this one time because they're doing it. I want to be cool just like them. But guess what? It's better to separate from them in general, because you know they're not gonna get right. You know you're not gonna change their ways. So why, if you drop off some information to them, they don't want to change. All right, well I'm just gonna go this way now. Y'all can stay over here. I'm gonna go this way. Separate yourself from wickedness and wicked people, man. So you don't have a chance to get influenced. Give me this.
The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 6. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
Exactly. So we're watching out for our people, just like Jeremiah's talking about. We're bemoaning our people like, man, I'm sick of our people going through this affliction. This same thing with Esther, because you read the story of Esther about Haman, how he tried to coerce the king to slaughter all the Jews in the land at that time under the Medo Persians. And Esther had to basically marry the king because she was so beautiful. He chose her out of all the Israelite sisters. She's a Jew, married the king, and turned the tables on Haman and had him get killed instead of the whole Jewish nation, or the Jews at that time. So read that against a lot.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
She's like, man, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the rest of my people at this time. We're about to get judged because this evil Edomite, Haman is an Edomite. He would try to spin the narrative how we're going to take over, things like that, and we need to be put to death. And the king signed off on it. But before it got decreed in reference to that, Esther had to be like, hey, I need to plead to the Most High, plead to this. My husband was the king, to reverse this judgment for the most part. And the Most High allowed it to happen. And that's all we got to think about it. We don't want our people to get judged, but guess what? We always say 2/3 got to get judged. We don't want to be part of 2/3. So if you don't want to be part of 2/3, guess what you got to do? Think about your ways and turn from wickedness and get right. Go ahead.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
People are really out here not worried about people getting gunned down by police, even though they recognize it. Our people, for the most part, they go right back to their regular scheduled program. Watching sports, watching sitcoms, watching movies, working a regular job, building up a family, which is not a problem. But at the same time, it's like, why aren't you worried about the real reality of the situation? How we're still, quote unquote, in captivity, how we're still behind enemy lines, how we're still not right in our minds as a whole nation. And most people like say, oh, Black Lives Matter, but we say up here, hey, Israelite lives matter, because Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, and also people that are scattered abroad. It doesn't necessarily matter what you look like per se, but as far as the lineage goes, the bloodline goes, we go by Israelite lineage, and those are people that we care about for the most part. Give me Psalm 85:4. You at Psalm 44? Go ahead.
Psalms 40:4. Blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust,
Blessed is the man that makes the Lord his trust. Read on.
and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies.
And that's what we gotta do. We gotta keep the Most High first, trust in His ways, trust that He's gonna deliver on His promises, and not hearken to lies that this world wants to push to the forefront. Lies in music, lies in entertainment, things like that. Lies in the Christian church for the most part. Why are you gonna hearken to that, knowing damn well Christianity's been around for 400 or 500 years and was introduced to us in slavery, a slave doctrine per se, that all nations can be saved now, which is madness. Even if you do believe in that, there's certain things you gotta do still, if you're an Israelite, to get saved, which is have faith and keep the law. And that's the main thing the Christian church will not teach you to do. Just like we were talking about dudes earlier. Oh, you don't have to keep the whole law. Why not? Christ said to do that. Paul didn't say it. The apostles didn't say it. Well, wait a minute. Who died for your sins? Who's the more authoritative? They would say the apostles, which is silliness, man. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Those are things you can't hearken to. Hearken to those lies that the Christian church pushes. If you do believe in Christ, if you do believe in the Bible, which most of our people do, but then you turn around and listen to the lies that they preach about the Bible. Just because we're harsh and we say we don't like other nations, things like that, other nations can't be saved. What does that have to do with your walking, your way of living as being an Israelite? If you don't believe you're an Israelite, that's different. But at the same time, if you do recognize you're an Israelite, you still believe all nations can be saved doctrine and Gentiles, things like that, and don't keep the law, you're not going to be saved, pretty much. That's how it works. Give me, is that it? Give me Psalms 30:12. Give me this.
The book of Psalm, chapter 85, verse 4. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease.
We had to ask the Most High to cause his anger to cease. So we know as a nation, we're all getting judged accordingly. Even in Israel, there's people that's in the truth that's getting judged. I've seen a few people pass away earlier this year. There's people that still fake the funk for the most part, claim they're righteous, and behind closed doors do certain things. And we hear about it. I don't want to say no names, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you're putting an Israelite movement in a bad light with your actions. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you teach on YouTube or on Facebook. It's about what you do and how you treat people, especially other Israelites. Because that's why we're getting judged by the Most High under the wrath of the Most High for the most part. Because as a whole nation, we're not getting right. Read that from the top.
Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thy anger to all generations?
Will you draw his anger to all generations? From from the wilderness to all till now? I mean, he has been for the most part. But there's going to be a time where the Israelites are going to be saved. Some of the elected 1/3. But obviously there's a method to the madness. We all have to repent and walk for a certain amount of time before the Most High deems fit that we're worthy to be saved, man. Go ahead.
Wilt thou not revive us again?
Will not revive us again? Of course he's going to revive us again. But I said there's going to be a time that he's going to do it. And we all got to get right before that occurs. Read.
That thy people may rejoice in thee. Show us thy mercy, O Yahweh, and grant us thy salvation.
Hey, that's what we're hoping for. The Most High is going to grant us his salvation and show us mercy. But he's not going to do it to just anybody. Because it also says in Amos 9, all the sinners of my people are going to die by the sword. So he's not going to have mercy on them, but they're going to have to be reborn in the kingdom under that new merciful new covenant, being in the right mind for the most part. So that's why they got to get right now. Give me that. Give me.
Psalms 33:12. Blessed is the nation whose God is Yahweh.
We're supposed to be blessed, but guess what? Now we're not blessed. We're still getting judged. Like, so we're still in the wrath of the Most High. Just that's in the same chapter, or excuse me, same book in Psalms talking about. The wrath of the Most High is it going to endure to all generations? It could, depending on how long we still in this wicked state of mind, being indoctrinated by Babylon the Great. What's going on, brother? Anyways, go ahead and read that.
And the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance.
The Most High chose the Israelites for his own inheritance. Our inheritance is what? The laws of God. Give me 17:11. What you got? Oh yeah, give me that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 4. Moses commanded us a law.
Moses commanded us a law. The commandment is what? Something you have to keep. All the laws that we were given in Mount Sinai, we have to keep. Just how Christ said it. Every way to proceed out of the mouth of God, we got to live that out. That's how it works. We don't run to the apostles and Paul and say, oh, well, there's only 3 things we got to keep. That's madness, man. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is about the moral law. The moral law is the hardest law. It doesn't matter what's the hardest law. It says the law is not grievous, right? So that means we can do it. Christ said we have to be perfect, which means what? We have to live that lifestyle, and he's giving us the opportunity to do it if we're walking in the Spirit. Just how Paul says in reference to that. Go ahead.
Even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob.
So the laws are inheritance. That's what we have to live by. Give me Sirach 26:28. What's going on, man? Do you have any questions? You speak English? Speak Spanish? Where's Abraham?
Hey, right there, Tazak.
Hey,
Tazak.
Tazak. Get them flyers, man. Get these spectators and flyers. Get it. Hey, brother, get a flyer from him. The Spanish flyer. Give me Sirach 26:28, 17:11. Yeah. Read that.
Sirach 17 and 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for heritage.
The law of life for inheritance. That's why it says in Deuteronomy 30, what? We gotta choose life. The law is going to give us life. That's what's going to give us on the right path, on the right good graces and mercy. But which is what we're asking for the most part these last days for the people that, for the most part, that's what we're asking for the most part, to have mercy upon us as a nation. Even though we know 2/3 are still going to be destroyed in this place. We don't know who's going to endure to the end until it happens. But we pray and we fast and we hope people that are in this truth and people that are soon coming to the truth endure to the end as well. Read that.
Verse 12, he made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. Their eyes saw the majesty of his glory and their ears heard his glorious voice.
Exactly. That's talking about the first 10 commandments for the most part. We heard the Most High thunder and lightning from the clouds. We sent Moses up to Mount Sinai after that to get the rest of the law. But that's the thing. The heritage is supposed to be something we're supposed to be proud of. We're supposed to be hearkened to for the most part. But 3,000 years later, 3,500 years later, we're in Babylon getting seduced by everybody else. Everybody else's doctrine, Islam, Kemet, all that type of stuff. Even Christianity is a different doctrine. It's just madness. Our people, they got to focus on one thing at a time, and that's first and foremost, recognizing you're an Israelite, repenting being an Israelite, having faith in who the world calls Christ, and then walking out the laws, which is your heritage, and hope you can endure, like I said. Give me that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty.
Man of war suffereth poverty. Didn't that happen in America? What happened in World War I, World War II? Black men was fighting the war for America, came back home, got a red line, all that stuff, weren't allowed to buy certain houses, certain areas, even though they probably made the same amount of money as a white soldier. Guess what? They got treated differently because guess what? We're still behind enemy lines. We're still getting judged according to our works back in the day. Hey, get them flyers, Tazak, man. Get them flyers rolling. You letting people pass up.
They weren't even allowed to eat in the same mess halls. They were captured German officers, and they were allowed to eat in the same in the same mess hall that the American officers was. But a black man wasn't even able to go into that mess hall, man. But that just shows you that they had a commonality because there was another white man, man.
Crazy. That's insane. That just goes to show that's what it's referencing, and that's a correlation I'm trying to make. A man that of war, suffering poverty, and we know my family was in the military throughout the years. People come back from the military with PTSD, certain ailments, legs blown off, things like that. They get treatment for the most part, but they still get treated like garbage. Half these people that's homeless might have been ex-military, but they fight for America to get their gold and their riches and their oil, to conquer certain lands, things like that. But guess what? If you're black or Hispanic, you're still going to be judging according to the curses of Deuteronomy 28, because first and foremost, you're not acting out being an Israelite. Secondly, goddamn well the white men don't give a damn about you. You give me that?
And men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepared such a one for the sword.
So if you learn about these laws, learn about your heritage, learn about the laws of God, and then turn away from it, that's what it says grieves somebody's heart. That's what grieves our hearts when we see people follow the truth, have a bad experience with certain things. That doesn't affect you being an Israelite because you're still an Israelite. But maybe that congregation, that person treated you wrong because the spirit on them isn't righteous. That's all it is. It's not about the whole community. It's about, hey, the Most High might be chastening you, might be judging you, but at the end of the day, you still gotta have faith in the Most High and walk according to the Most High's will. But that's the Most High. That's what it's talk about. What's the last part say? Read the last part.
And one that returneth from righteousness to sin.
You return from righteousness to sin by what? Not keeping the law. That's pretty much how it works. And read that last part.
The Lord prepared such a one for the sword.
Yeah, because the wages of sin are death. Plain and simple in the Bible. Give me Ezekiel 18 and 19. And you give me what you have? says Sirach 71. It's 1 to 3, read.
Sirach 71, do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee.
You do no evil, so no harm come to you. That's pretty plain and simple. Keep reading.
Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee.
Depart from unjust people. That's whether it's watching certain things, being around certain people. Depart from unjust. So what? Read that again.
Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee.
Iniquity's going to turn for you if you don't be around people that's doing unjust things, people that's doing sinning. You can't bond with people that's what it's called unequally yoked. Most people talk about marriage, but it can be talking about friendship as well. It could be talking about you working a certain job, serving people pork. I don't want to do that. I don't want to cause my people to go off by certain pork. I want to support a business that allows me to go off that way. That's how it works. I'm going to try my best to tell Israelites that come to an establishment where I might be serving certain abominable foods. Say, hey, you don't want to eat here. I might sabotage the business. I'm getting paid for it. But guess what? I'm going to tell them, hey, this ain't the place for you, man. You can do better. Go and eat that chicken, that beef, that lamb, and, come back maybe next time when I'm working here so I don't want to affect your meal in certain aspects. But keep reading the Surah.
Verse 3, my son, sow not upon thee my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness.
Don't be used to being unrighteous. Don't sow furrows on righteousness. Don't bury yourself in doing sin. Read.
And thou shalt not reap them sevenfold.
You're not going to get judged sevenfold for it, because if the wages of sin are death, and you're walking in sin, you're walking in unrighteousness, eventually that unrighteousness is going to catch up to you. Give me that in Sirach 21 real quick. You know what I want? That's the whole book of Sirach. This is a powerful book, man. You can just have hundreds of lessons out the same book. Read.
Sirach 21 and 1. My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more.
That's the bottom line, man. Don't sin no more. Read on.
But ask for pardon for thy former sins.
That's pardon for your former sins. Read.
Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee, and the teeth thereof are as the teeth of lion, slaying the souls of men.
Exactly. If you want to practice sin, walk sin out, eventually you're going to get bit, you're going to be put to death, and that's going to be your judgment, man. And like I said, eventually, if this world doesn't pass away in due time, you might get reborn. Hey, live out another life, live out another judgment, and Lord willing, the Most High put the Spirit on you, and you're right for the actual judgment there. But yeah, skip that. Get 36 and 22 to 29. Read.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 22. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake.
He's going to do something for his holy name's sake. Not because I chose you, but for my holy name's sake. Since you represent me wrong, what's going to get to it? Read.
Which ye have profaned among the heathen.
We profaned the Most High name Yahweh among the heathen by not following his ways. Read.
Whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them.
We profaned the Most High's name by sinning against the Most High, following the ways of the heathen. Being idolaters, just doing plain wickedness. Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you.
Exactly. Most High is going to bring us into their land. This is talking about a new covenant, obviously. He's going to sprinkle clean water upon us. He's going to cleanse us from our past sins again. So even though we might be walking righteously for the most part, we're not perfect. We still have our sinful flesh, but we're going to get that fleshy heart. It's going to reference that. Talking about the new covenant, we're going to be walking perfectly and not sinning no more. Read.
And ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you.
So we're going to be redeemed again. We're going to be refreshed in the mind and in the spirit. We're going to have a whole new thought process. So we're going to be programmed to keep the laws of God perfectly. Go ahead.
And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes.
He's going to cause us to walk in the statutes. He's going to allow it to happen. He's going to purposely wind up our backs like a wind up toy, and we're gonna be like androids under the Most High's will, living perfectly at that time. I don't have a problem with that, because we're gonna be ruling the nation at that time in righteousness, teaching them how to get. I know. Go ahead.
And ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your God.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Eventually, we get right. Once we get cleansed of our wicked sins and filthiness, what's the like the 1/3 gonna get the first chance at in the wilderness, and other people that don't want to get down get purged out. That's what's gonna happen. Give me here, real quick. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 7:1. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit.
So even though the Most High says He's going to cleanse us overall, we still got to do it before that time, so we can be worthy of that second covenant of Christ and that official cleansing of the Most High Spirit in heart, putting that Spirit in the heart in. Excuse me. That's what we got to do now before that day, so we can get right and present ourselves a living sacrifice so the Most High can see the worth of us and be redeemed in this captivity. Go ahead.
Perfecting holiness in the fear of the Most High.
We got to perfect holiness in the fear of the Most High. Give me the last one. Go ahead.
The book of Psalm, chapter 34, verse 11. Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Yahweh.
Exactly. So we got to walk in the fear of the Most High. We got to learn how to fear the Most High. That's what we got to teach our people. Actually, give me Sirach, the first chapter, real quick. We still got like 5 minutes. 1 and 11 through 14.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 11. The fear of the Lord is honor and glory and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. And the fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart and giveth joy and gladness and a long life. Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last.
You fear the Lord from the well to at the last. Meaning you're going to get saved eventually, read.
And he shall find favor in the day of his death. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's how you get wisdom. That's the starting pack to getting wisdom, fearing the Most High. Go ahead.
And it was created with the faithful in the womb.
Jump to 16 real quick.
To fear the Lord is fullness of wisdom, and filleth men with her fruits. She filleth all their house with the thing. Okay. Verse 18. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of God, and it enlargeth their rejoicing that love him.
These are all benefits of fearing the Most High. Jump to verse 21.
Verse 21. The fear of the Lord driveth away sin.
Fear the Lord drive away sins. Guess what? You fear the Most High, you're not going to sin. Because you know there's a judgment coming if you do. Read.
And where it is present, it turneth away wrath.
Exactly. So we already read in Strike 21, if you sin, don't do it no more. And if you fear the Most High, it's going to turn away sins and turn away wrath because you're not going to sin because you know what's coming to you. That's just a simple logic that we have to live by if you know what's going on in the world. If you know you're an Israelite first and foremost, and knowing the Most High is going to judge somebody eventually, whether it's the second death, whether it's a judgment before that second death, something's going to happen if you're doing wicked works for the most part. And if you're an Israelite, you know if you're supposed to keep the covenant. And if you're not keeping the covenant, there's a judgment coming to you. That's pretty much how it works because the Most High hates sinners. Give me that last one.
Sirach 23:27. And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of Yahweh.
Nothing better than the fear of Yahweh, because we already benefits of it. You're going to have peace and perfect health. You're going to drive away sins. You're not going to get judged. You're going to have joy. All that stuff is benefits. There's benefits in fearing the Most High. I brought that out before. Read.
And that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of Yahweh. It is great glory to follow Yahweh, and to be received of him is long life.
Yeah, that's our job, man. Realizing there's a benefit in serving the Most High, fearing the Most High, getting right within the Most High before the second coming of the Most High Son, and realizing that you don't want to be on the left-hand side getting judged with these other heathens, man. Because ultimately we deserve it, but according to the prophecy, there's somebody that's already assigned to that judgment, and we got to make sure we endure to the end so we don't have to end up on that side and be an example to our people. Hopefully they hearken and take heed before that day comes, man. But with that, we're going to close out. Give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ma'ashem, Ma'ashak, Yahweh Shai, and say Shalom, man.